Hey, what's up, everybody? Time for take number 3. I have like 3 hours of footage on the cutting room floor of trying to record this video, but yeah, title and the thumbnail are exactly what it says. So you don't really need much more than that. If you don't care about anything else, it was nice having you. Thanks for clicking the video. The rest of this is just going to be a little bit of an explanation and my plans going forward, and a little self-indulgent explanation of everything. I'm going to try to keep it shorter. First take was like an hour and a half, but yeah, just wanted to word the summary a little bit different here. The main point of this video is that I am no longer going to be making full-time Path of Exile content. I will possibly still play some leagues and events, but not full-time and grind it throughout an entire league and just post tons and tons of content. But I'll still be streaming some games kind of part-time and, posting some videos. And I also am looking to move into other types of content, both game and not game related. And I'd love to have you guys come with me. The rest of this video is the full explanation of that. My original recording here was very blunt, but that's the softer way to put it. All right, enjoy. I guess a little bit of a backstory is I always liked PoE. It's a cool game. It's a great game. I used to just play it like one league a year, one league every other year, something like that. Had fun playing the game. Around Harvest League, really opened up, kind of seeing the possibilities of the game, really unveiled the depth of the game, really got into crafting and understanding all that type of stuff. Fast forward to Ritual League, kind of the heyday of Path of Exile. I had a build that I really liked, my Cast on Crit Golemancer. And I wanted to share that with you guys, or just share that in general. Actually, I didn't even want to share that. My friends were like, hey, you should make a video of this build. Like I had tried to make like a couple Hades videos before. It was kind of fun, just because I liked playing Hades. But my friend was like, yeah, you should just make a build guide for your build. It's pretty cool. And they're like, yeah, I've never seen anything like it. So, post it. So I posted it to Path of Exile builds and all that. That was it. I was just planning on posting a build guide, going back to my day job, and that was it. Then people started sending me messages. They were sending me like DMs on Reddit and be like, hey, where's your stream? I don't see your stream. Like, I don't have a stream. Yeah, so I made a Twitch account, just started chatting with people, streaming here and there, just showing my gameplay and all that. And it coincided with the job that I had of, it basically ended up, we had a mutual separation, we'll just say that. The job had gone a direction I did not want to do, pretty much. They're putting us, I was a programmer and they wanted to basically put all hands on deck doing customer support just because like they had a bad release. Not my fault, not my fault, but there's a bad release. And they put everyone all hands on deck on like awful customer technical support for stuff that I didn't even work on. And it was a nightmare and I just couldn't make myself do it. So I was like, hey, I'm streaming right now. And I posted like a couple more videos that did like really horribly, walked away from a job and I'm doing this and let's see if we can make this work. And that's really, not to recount the whole history of everything, but that's basically what's happened. So, talking about PoE in general, like I said at the beginning, I like PoE a lot. It's a great game, but I'm not like a hardcore ARPG guy, and I'm definitely not a one game type of guy. And that's been a big problem of mine. The first couple of years, just having tons of growth, people coming in, sharing, we had the Bane gang and everything, and people coming in, all that, and like meeting new people, and all that was so great. But the whole time in the back of my head is just like, I want to play other games, or I want to do other things. I have so many other things that I want to do in my life. And that's basically the summary here. And it gets even worse when the game is your job. More props to the people that can sit there and just grind it forever. I think it's been very obvious, if you've been following the stream and seeing my output on YouTube for the past 2 years, like the first 2 years, right? I went hard. I was posting a video a day, streaming 8 to 10 hours every day. That's basically what you have to do as a content creator to grow. You have to go very hard and, posting shorts and all that type of crap. And it gets more complicated every single year. You can't just do, I'm jealous of what Ziz did, early on, he's just like, I would stream 16 hours a day and that was it. And since there was no one else playing PoE, that, more props to him. But yeah, you can't do that these days. You really have to, you have to do so much, particularly, I always viewed PoE as like a launching point, or was hoping for at least. I talk about this on stream all the time, but it's not something you talk about in a YouTube video. On stream all the time, like my goal was always to have PoE max 50% of what I did. And ideally maybe even 30% or even 20%, where it's like, hey, for a league, I still enjoy playing PoE up until I get my 40 out of 40. Like, I like that. I like having a concrete goal, going for that. Maybe coming up with one fun build, two at the most, that I can do with like the new mechanics, new uniques, anything like that. But then after I get my 40 out of 40, I do not just enjoy grinding. I don't enjoy just getting more money or anything like that. Everything after that, like the first 3 to 4 weeks of a league is very fun. That's when I enjoy playing the game. The next, God knows with this league, the next 6, 7, 8 months, normally like the next 2 to 3 months, right? For me, that's like filler for me. And when 2/3 of the time you're just trying to fill space with stuff that you don't want to do, like I enjoy sharing stuff with you guys. The two things that I enjoy are just like fun stuff with the community on stream and educational stuff on YouTube. And, I put out most of the stuff that I cared about educational wise, right? Like the crafting videos, betrayal guide, expedition guide. Those are the videos that I'm most proud of. Like I said, I wanted to get PoE down to like a minority of what I did. And I just 100% my fault for not pushing the boundaries. Like it's really hard, if you're a PoE streamer or any one game streamer. Like I even did Twitch used to do these fireside chats where they would invite people to like listen to a top creator talk about things. And I did one with Double Lift, and he was talking about how he hates being pigeonholed as a League of Legends only guy. Like he wishes he could just boot up Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing or something and just chill once in a while. But he's like, his 15,000 viewers goes down to 4, right? And I would kill for 4,000 viewers, but that's just the life of a creator, right? Particularly if you get pigeonholed as a one game creator. And you can break out of it, right? You can push those boundaries and break out of it. But you gotta work even harder. And the nature of the work, unfortunately, does not really sync up with what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I guess we'll just kind of get into it a little bit. I am over 42 years old now, 42 and a half, very soon. And my history is I was a very active person, relatively outdoorsy type of person. I am not the type of person, I love video games and I'll get into them, but I have a very love-hate relationship with how much I do that. Like my biggest regrets in life are how much time I've spent playing video games. Genuinely. That's probably my number one biggest regret in life is just how many hours I spent playing games. And my dream is not to be someone that plays video games for 12 to 16 hours a day. That is just not my dream. More power to you if you get your life satisfaction from that. But for me, like, especially now, like 4 hours a day, like, especially if I have that time boxed and whatever, but the nature of Path of Exile and for me making content, like I'm not like the fastest, most brilliant person in the world, but like my superpower is that I can hyper focus on something, and I can put out something that is high quality if I put in 2 to 3x as much time as people that it might come more naturally to. But I'm able to do that with a variety of things, and that's kind of like my superpower. I believe everyone has their own superpower, and that's just like how I've identified my own. Did that with content for the first 2 years, and it was very successful, and it was so great. Going to ExileCon and meeting you guys and the meet and greet and everything. It's been really, really awesome. Honestly, all the support, like did everything I could to like avoid asking for support beyond like, hey, subscribe to the channel, anything like that. And just like how much you guys have given me an outpouring of love, how much what I did here resonated with you guys was incredible. But I just can't make myself playing Path of Exile anymore, man. The big thing is like, I was already like pretty burnt out on the game. Like to me, Sanctum was the height of PoE. Like it's also a combination of Sanctum was, for me, the best league of all time, and they haven't had anything. Like it felt like they were always getting more and more aspirational. I was like, they can't keep getting away with this. Every single announcement was like, oh my god, this is crazy. It keeps getting crazier, and everything after Sanctum to me has been pretty darn. They set the bar too high, right? Every league, every single Path of Exile league, after Parandos basically has been, godlike, incredible versus other games. But PoE, they kept raising the bar. They have to hit their limit, right? And we saw that with Kalandra especially. They just ran out of time. They got too aspirational and they just couldn't do it. And I totally get it. Also, they got stretched thin with PoE 2, which we'll get into in a second. Yeah, I every league after Sanctum, to me, I like Sentinel's great. Like, to me, Sentinel is the second best league of all time. Sanctum is the best, and then we'll probably put like Ritual and Ultimatum as a tie for third place for me. I think those are my top three. After that, like, no league has truly excited me. And if anything, this past year with Affliction, Necropolis, and Settlers, they're, again, they set the bar very high. They're not bad leagues, but compared to what they did in the past, they're very, very bland. And then with the push of Ubers and T17s and just how extreme the power creep on both the player and Arch Nemesis mods as well, the player and monster power creep has gotten to the point where, until your build is basically immortal, you just can't relax playing the game. And that's, I don't know. It's just, I've been finding the game more and more tedious to play. Not to mention, I just want to play other games. If I want to play, if I'm going to play a game, I want to play something else. And then I guess we'll talk about PoE 2. So that's my relationship with PoE 1 right now. Particularly this league dragging on this long, a league that I, like I just said, is very bland to me. I basically just been in PoE 2 waiting room for the past, basically 2 years, and especially the last year, 100% just PoE 2 waiting room. And it's early access. It's early access. It's early access. It is so far from, what I would want to play at this point. Great for them that they made a ton of money and they got a lot of hype, but it is so far away from what I would want to play right now. So like, I don't see a reason to play that game. Like, I did end up playing, what did I play? Like 220 hours. I haven't booted up. Also, I haven't played PoE 2 in over a month now. I haven't booted up in a while. Let's see. PoE 2 right there. You can take a look. Oh, no, I don't have it turned on. Okay, anyway, I haven't booted up the game since January 6th, and I played 275 hours, but a lot of that was just leaving the game up overnight. Yeah, I don't even have my screen capture on. That's how long it's been. Let's see. So yeah, the short of it is, you can watch Ben's video or you can watch my review of like what I think. It's like, I think PoE 2 will be very good in maybe a year, but I also don't think it's going to be what I wanted it to be regardless. So like I just said, I've been mostly done with PoE 1, and with what they showed, I thought PoE 2 was going to be a very, very different game. My dreams of what the end game were going to be was like, I don't know, procedurally. A lot of people might not like this, and this is fine. This is just what I want. But I wanted really strongly encouraged group play, maybe procedurally generated dungeons. It's tough for procedurally generated to be good, but like really, really interesting dungeons that maybe take a while to run with a party, culminating this incredible boss fight that does interesting things, or like something just very, very different. Like, I wanted the gameplay, and this is what it felt like, going to ExileCon and as they were like playing things and doing the couch co-op experiments in LA. I thought the game was going to be something drastically different than PoE 1. Unfortunately, and the way that, even worse, is the way that they're patching it. Actually, the way that they're patching it and adding these small quality of life things, it feels like, and we'll see with point 2, but it feels like they're pushing it more and more towards PoE 1, but janky right now. And like, they're already conceding a lot of their base game design choices, right? And like, I think those design choices were not good in the first place, but they're saying, oh, we wanted to do 1 portal, but hey, now you get 6 portals, and then maybe 4, and then 2, depending on the difficulty. But it's just like, just give us 6. Who cares, right? Like, that's not like an interesting game design decision, right? Just like, oh, it's harder. Now you're playing pseudo hardcore. That's not interesting. Interesting is like, hey, we're doing this really this totally different thing that you've never seen in an ARPG. I wanted it to be like different. I don't know. Just give me Hello Kitty Adventure World or something. I don't know. Like, I wanted a very, very different game that revolutionized what ARPGs were. Like, that was the dream, right? And more, all I see is just like a lot of inconvenience, taking away so many of the interesting things about PoE 1. The change to the crafting system. Like, I get what they're doing, giving base types and drops value and all that, whatever. I understand it. But like, they didn't do it in an interesting way. And now they just lost the identity of the beauty of the crafting and currency system of PoE 1. Like, one of the best parts about PoE 1 is gone, and they replace it with something just way worse. Like, it's totally fine to say, hey, that's too easy. We don't like what it does to the game. That's fine. but you don't take it away and then you give away this you just re-add a half-baked version. That's just not, that's just worse in literally every single way. And then it's like, okay, so omens can get you kind of halfway there to PoE 1 crafting, but then omens are super rare. We're just gonna make omens more common. And then it's just like PoE 1 with extra steps, right? I don't know, they're under pressure for a lot of time. There's so many beautiful things about the game. I did really enjoy the campaign. Anyway, you can watch my review. This is about me. This is about me, not the game. Anyway, like I said, I've basically been in a PoE 2 waiting room, and I just did not like the game. And I think that was very clear. Like I made like 2 videos. So it was like, I made 3 videos. Like, hey, here's the build that I'm playing. I even said like, hey, this build's not even that good, just because I ended up playing Chronomancer instead of Stormweaver, and Chronomancer sucks, right? And I should have played Stormweaver, but I had pressure to play Chronomancer, which is a whole different thing. And then, then I just posted like a video about how minions are annoying, right? And I just end up like, all I was thinking about was like how annoying the game was. Anyway, don't like PoE 2, and I'm afraid PoE 2 is just going to be, it might be better than PoE 1 in a year, maybe 2 years. But right now it's just like, I don't get the point of it to even be out, except for GGG to show that they're working on something and to make money. More props to them. It's not a bad game, but it's just, it doesn't give me an alternative to PoE 1 that gets me excited. There's literally nothing about the act of playing the game that I find enjoyable over PoE 1. that's the maybe going through the campaign the first and second time was fun. More fun than the campaign of PoE 1. But after that, man, the end game has been basically everything about it I found unfun. We'll just say unfun. So there's that. And then the other thing, like I said earlier, is I don't want to be sitting here at my computer for, the thing is with making content, and particularly for PoE content, for me, like I said, it takes me a lot of time. Like basically from sun up to sundown, I am just, at the very least, I'm thinking about what video I'm going to make, what I'm going to do on stream, what build I'm going to work on, stuff like that. And, particularly if you don't want to do that and it's consuming everything, like I was always very, very active my entire life, like always very in shape. And that was like part of like how I, like to move in the world. And part of my identity is like someone who is very active and agile. Then, just sitting here making content for 4 years, those first 2 years I grinded so hard. I was just not in the shape. I was very unhappy with how things were going. And, it was fine timing with COVID, I guess, because no one was going outside. But now I'm still not really going outside as much. I don't want to just sit here spending my whole life, this is my so mad moment. I'm going to go make a tomato farm and be a lawyer. Nah. The other thing is a few weeks ago, I actually went to Japan and I bought a house. So if you caught my last stream or you've seen any of the streams, I've been talking about that. I've always been into Japan in general. I actually studied Japanese for a while. I've been to Japan 12 times now. I've always wanted to be a very big part of my future and, rest of my life and like at least retire there in some fashion, either part-time or full-time, retire in Japan. Doing this, I didn't feel like I was working towards my goals. I wasn't growing in any way. I didn't have time to study Japanese. Basically stopped studying Japanese when I started streaming. And I basically did not, the only travel that I did through COVID was the one time going to ExileCon, and then, last year going to LA, thank you, GGG, like those incredible experiences. I'll never forget those. But, that's the only travel I did for years. And I used to, travel much more often and, just do things. I used to rock climb. I used to travel around the country and rock climb and skateboard and snowboard and all those type of things, the things that I like to do in life. And I just didn't feel any real personal growth doing content and particularly, mono game content for a game that I had gotten pretty burnt out on. I'm at the point now where I really, like I said, I'm 42 years old. I know a lot of people are always like, oh, I'm so surprised. But, you look at those bags under the eyes, you can see, maybe full screen, you can see a little bit better. I got to be very, very smart about what I do with my, very little time left on this planet. And I also want to get out of this country. We'll just leave that there. Would love to get out of here. At least have a backup plan. So yeah, where does that leave us? I still like PoE and I am interested in playing Path of Exile through the cycles that I enjoy playing it. If 326 gets announced, like I am generally curious about the new Ascendancy event that they're doing. I am genuinely curious about, 326, it's probably, I feel like GGG knows that they have to put out something good. So I feel like 326 it'll be good in some way. And I got to get my 40 out of 40s. I can't miss that. But that doesn't take that much time. I can do part-time PoE content, right? I guess, but that leaves me doing other things. And very, very easily, like I said, my superpower is kind of honing in on something and focusing on it. When I got back from Japan, I've spent almost every day, like 8 to 12 hours a day of my waking hours, just getting back into studying Japanese. And it's remembering how hard it is and how frustrating it is, but it's also, just knowing that's what I want to do. And that's, really where my interests are. Would love to just know another language. Like that's a superpower I want to acquire. And I just don't have that, particularly if I get like a part-time job. I would do programming again, probably something like that. And then if I'm all my other free time, if I'm studying Japanese or working on real estate, there just is not time to sit there and play Path of Exile for the number of hours that it requires to put out valuable content. Granted, I am practiced enough now. I have like 500 something plus videos on this channel. I could put out, occasional stuff, and maybe you guys are still interested in that, and I can show you guys my discoveries and whatever build I'm playing, but it's just not the same. And that's just kind of where that is. I would still love to, like my dream, like if abroad in Japan or what Connor, Sea-Dog VA, those type of guys, basically the guys in Japan, what they do, particularly non-video game stuff, or maybe even video game adjacent stuff. That could be cool. Like I'd love to tour Osaka and show you guys like old timey arcades in Osaka and going to Akihabara and doing stuff like that. That is something that just gets me so excited. I would love that. And like, streaming from Japan, walking around, just seeing all the cool stuff and, maybe inspiring you guys for, seeing other things in the world. And, it's so easy to sit there and play video games and then just doom scroll on Reddit or whatever. And then, hey, guess what? It's 10 years later, not speaking from experience anywhere here, the time I can't believe I'm 42. I still remember when I turned 30 and it's just flying, man. That's kind of where it is. I have no illusions that I can turn a channel that's, I don't think 82,000 of you guys want to see me, walking around in Akihabara looking at old Street Fighter machines. But hey, maybe there's a world. Maybe I can make it interesting. At the very least, I think there's a world where I'm still playing events and, and trying out new leagues and doing 40 out of 40. And I can share things like that. And just doing occasional content like that, but just unfortunately due to the nature of the YouTube algorithm, there were times and on this channel that if I post something just a little different, like 1 or 2 videos, even trying to get back to your normal video style, the algorithm has to readjust. Like it is when you're like mono locked into something, it's really hard to adjust. And yeah, I could start fresh, and maybe that's a thing. I could start fresh and just try to like push you guys over to a new channel. Could try that. Just share with you guys, maybe in a month or two, I'll film stuff from Japan and have a Japan channel, and I can share it with you guys and say, hey, this is what I'm working on. Come over there. Something like that. I don't know. I haven't posted a video in a long time, and I haven't streamed. I did one stream, kind of just letting the stream know what was up a week ago or so. But yeah, that's kind of where things are at. I'm not making any absolute conclusions to anything, but that's just kind of what I'm feeling. I just personally cannot make myself play a Path of Exile, either one right now. And there's just nothing inspiring to me about it. There's so many other things that I want to do. And that's where things are. And then the rest that I can say is thank you. Again, I cannot thank you guys enough for everything, just making this happen. It's been an incredible experience. And whatever I end up doing, I would love to have you guys along with me. Also, the patrons, like, totally understand if you just want PoE related stuff, but I do want to like move into other things. Like I just said, if you want to, and I'll rebrand it to, so it's clear what it is. I totally understand if you, if you're done there, but yeah, you guys have been incredible. I'm still going to be, I'm going to get back into streaming, but I'm going to have it like time boxed, like 3 hours a day or something. We'll play other games. We'll play like, games like Hollow Knight, Outer Wilds, all these games that, Baldur's Gate, the games that I want to play that have been on a list that are just sitting there. But it would only be like 3 to 4 hours a day. For me, I just can't sit here and just grind when there's other stuff I got to do. And that's where things are at right now. If I don't see you guys again, thank you for everything. It's been a wild journey, but if you come along with me wherever we go in the future, would love to have you. All right. Yeah, that's the end of this one. Matane. Bye-bye.